This video is just going to look at some pointers for using EFOFEX. You don't have to. If you wish to do your diagrams by hand, that's fine. This just helps you use technology to change diagrams if you want to. Okay, some of you have used it in your methods investigation, so this is just to add. So the first thing is you might be having EFOFEX Classic or FX Graph that you've used in methods. I have mine embedded in Word, so you might want to go back and make sure that you can set it up so it's in there. If not, it's okay, it'll work the same if you use it as a separate app. Okay, for those of you who haven't downloaded it, go to OneNote and our subscription details are there. We've paid for this for you. All right, so when it's in Word, I just click on it and my various ones come up. So if you've got separate apps on your desktop, you've got the stat, the graph, the equation. Now I go to draw. So it doesn't really matter if you go float or inline because you can format it later. And yeah, I forgot to say, we're looking at axes, scale, plotting points, etc. Okay. So click on that, it comes up. Mine takes a little bit of while because I've got an old device and we get this. So this bit here is your graph. Okay, and that's why I use FX Draw, because it's got all these added parts to it. So anyway, you click on that, so left click, and you can see the cross change, and you can just do your axes like so. Now, if I go back to my pointer now, because I don't want to put another graph on top of a graph. So now I right click, the green stuff comes up. Now you could go over here and you can type in all of your stuff. I don't know why, I'm just old school. I right click and now I've got all these options. So I can choose my scale. So just like your graphics calculator, you can set your X and Y. So I think for our investigation, we need to increase our Y options. Okay, oops, don't want 120, so always check what you're putting in there. And I think this was 15, but again, look, change it for anything that you want. Okay, if I just press OK, you can see that the scale has changed straight away. I right click again. Again, you can use the stuff to the side if you prefer. To pop in, you would have known from methods to pop in an equation. So y equals 2x plus 5. Okay, boom, it goes straight in. Click out. Now, click in. So you've got, see how there's a difference between the green and the out. So if I now hover, you can see here that the equation comes up. I can right click and add annotation like so. If I now right click in that, and again the green was not on the axes, so I had right clicked out. Okay, so no green little boxes there, but now when I right click in here, all of this comes up. So this is just saying that it's writing the function. You could change this. You can add to it. So if I say hi, that appears in there. Okay, if I get rid of that, well then the equation disappears. I'm just going to Control Z and undo it. Okay, so you've got those options. You can change the color. So if I press the background here, you can change the color of the box. You could have, so you've got the anchor line. At the moment, there's none. So if you can see here, the anchor line just ties it to the equation there. You can have a rectangle around, or I can say, so sorry, the rectangle is that little black thing around there. If you don't want it, you can remove it to have white or none. I don't know. I guess you can have it white so it's gone. Okay. Again, you can move this like so. Okay. I'm going to add another equation now. So if I now go our good old friend, the quadratic, so x squared, actually, let's move it across. So we'll have it, let's go to the right. So take 4 squared and we'll go up 3. So we should already know it's got a vertex of 4, 3. Okay, once again, if I am hovering in here, it can give me the local minimum. Okay, so again, right click, it gives me there. If I don't want to actually show that it's the local minimum, again, I can delete that. So I just get the coordinate, and I might just say, put a V in front of that to show that it's the vertex. Or I could just write min, because I'm not using up as much space as I had last time. Okay, once again, click in here, and you can even find the point of intersection. So again, click on that. I just left clicked. So you can left click or go add annotations. And yeah, so all of those little things can help you to make a reasonably nice graph. And last thing for entering data here is that you can also enter a point. So if I just put a bracket, let's go to the right, so 7 and go down -10, you can see that a point now appears over here. And again, you could right click or left click and add the annotation if you really wanted to. Okay, now to make it just a little bit better, like formatting, again, if we click into that, and if we go to function properties, now this is a little bit of a pain, but you have to, once you've gone into function properties, you click onto the one that you want here. So at the moment, this is a width of 2 point. I could change that to, let's just change it to 1 so you can see that it makes a slight difference. And I can also change the color. So I might want to have it blue. So let's have a look now. You can see that line has gone blue. Again, function properties, you have to make sure that you click on each one that you want to do. So I get caught out sometimes. I'm in quick entry. I click on this. I think I'm going to file properties and I'm changing things, but notice it goes right back to the first one. So click on the one that you want, and you can fool around. So this time let's change the point. So you can change the point style if you want, right? So you've got all those choices, and you can even change the size of it. And of course, like we did before, you can change the color. Okay, so let's go, oh, that's a nice color. Does that change it? Yes, it does. All right, so all those little things. The added bonus of being in draw rather than graph is you've then got these little things here. So you've got a text box that you could add. So if you wanted to add something, if you wanted to add a label, then you've got that. Now watch what happens when I've added a label here. You can see label comes up as, because you've got shortcuts for different things. So all you have to do is highlight that. And over here, you just unclick auto, because the auto is making it go automatically to mathematical symbols. Okay, if you want it to be italics and bold, you've got all these options here. Okay, and then you've got your little text box, and you can move that around however and wherever you want it to be. Okay, you look, add some of these things if you want to play with. They're really funky. So if you wanted to mark a particular point as A, B, C, D, okay, you can say, well, I can put this point A here, and then I could put this point B here, and so on, and it goes in alphabetical order. If you wanted to change the order, again, put your pointer, right click, and you can change. So you might want to skip to point M. Go OK. So it changes it there, and the great bit is, I think next time now when we go to have another point, it takes up M, N, and so on. Okay, again, quite groovy. If you think that these points are too big, again, click on it, right click, and you can change the size of that. You can change the style of it as well. Okay, so oops, and that N is a little bit too big, so I highlight that, and it's on 18. I can change that to 12, and it reduces, so it's not so big and bold. To save all of this stuff, right, hit your tick, and it then embeds into your Word document. If you are using the app or it's a separate little thing, then you save it somewhere else. Oops, I didn't bother saving that because I'm going on to another one. So that's the graphy bit if you wanted to do the boats going hither and thither. And now if you just wanted to explain things using vectors, we're back into FX Draw, and then just using these things here. Now this would work in the graphing section as well, but I wanted to do it separately. So if you wanted to do a line, let's say we're wanting to show vector OA plus OB, whatever, you can do that. Now, if I click on this and then right click, edit properties, you can see that you've got all these little bits and pieces. So you can add an arrow for your direction if you want. So you've got choices of arrows. I sort of stick to that one. Again, you've got the size. Okay, and you can fiddle around with that. Okay, huzzah. I can, let's say I'm putting another arrow, let's say from, yeah, well, we might as well go, let's say I go from here to there, okay, and I go right click and I edit, and once again I go end, change the size, but it goes, can you see the arrow is now going to the wrong end? So if I right click on that and edit properties again, instead of saying the end, so get rid of that, I go to the start, and you can see it changes. Oops, that's a little bit big, isn't it? So, yeah. You can change colors if you really want to. A lot of the time I do. So up again, it's here. So to the pointer, click on the one that you want to change. You can change the size of it, the width, the weighting, I guess. You can change the style. Not that we really want to do that. And over here, we can change the color. Okay. And like we had before, if you want to just call points A, B, and C, then you can use this one here, the marked point. So you can just go, and it starts off again, A, B, C, so A, B, and C, so you can refer to them if you want to put in your own specific labels. So you go, I don't want A. All right, you can use your text box, and you can call this, okay, capital O. If you want to make that a little bit bigger, all right, you highlight it, go over here. Oh, 12, I think it was already on 12, so maybe go 16. And you can see how that changes, and you can just drag that to where you want to go. And you think, well, I don't want that A thing there anymore. So right click on it, and then you just hit delete. Okay, so you've got, so we'll click on, oops, so click on the both of them, delete, add another text box. And if you want to call this, actually let's label this, we've got this, the vector OA. Look, feel free to fiddle around with all of this stuff here. You've got a whole lot of different things that you can add, like from the equation stuff. So you could come down here and, oops, just drag that. And you could say this is the vector OA. All right, going in that direction. Yeah, so look, have a play around. It's pretty handy. I'm just trying to think of anything else that you might need. Again, if you just click in there, it pops in, and you can then change the size of it. You can move it around to where you want to go. Right click. You can format the shape, so you could have it behind the text, in front, tight, square, etc., etc. So you can move it where you want it to go. If you now want to change this, so again, right click, object, and open. And you can do this with the graph one that I had before. You can then add things like you did. Okay, if I go back to put the little graph in, if I have my, and I would do this separately. I'm just doing it here, opening, so I don't have to open and shut, open and shut. So 2x take 5 and y equals minus 3x plus 1. Right, I can also use these if I wanted to indicate, you know, this is the distance between this point and this point, maybe. And so you could then click on that, and that's where you might want to change the, you can say that's a dotted line and say that would be the distance. I don't know. Little things that you might want to do. Okay, so again, embed. I wouldn't do this like this normally. Oops, I undid something. Oops, redo. I wouldn't do this normally and have 2 in the 1. I have them separately. So again, it's there for you if you want to use it. If you don't want to, you can draw it by hand, that's fine. But hopefully that helps you out a little bit. And feel free to email me if there's something that you want to do and you're not quite sure how to do it.